Great. Hi, everyone. Welcome to this workshop, Build Your Professional Brand. I'm Leslie Serrier, the business librarian here at the Addison Public Library, and I'm excited you joined us today. In this workshop, we're going to spend some time exploring the concept of professional branding and how it can help build your career. Today's content was provided with our partners at Grow with Google. You'll learn how your personal brand and career story can help you quickly let potential employers, clients, and collaborators know who you are and what you bring to the table. Then we'll talk about simple steps you can take to start building your brand. A few of the exercises in this workshop involve some writing, so you may want to grab a notebook or a pen, or you can always use a digital document like a Google Doc. All right, so let's get started. Today, we're going to talk about what professional branding can mean for your career and how it's never too early or too late to start building your own brand. We'll start by covering what a professional brand is and how companies use their brand to build trust with their customers and clients. Then we'll talk about how branding your personal professional brand can help you grow your career no matter what type of work you do. After that, we'll go over 3 steps that you can take to build your professional brand: defining your brand, building your online presence, and growing your network. In the next 45 minutes, you'll take the first two steps towards defining your own professional brand and learn how you can keep building your brand online and in person. So let's get started. Think about a company you like. Maybe it's a restaurant, a clothing brand, or a particular product you really enjoy. When you think about this company, what images and feelings do you associate with the company? What images do you come to mind? What feelings do you associate with the company? Who is their ideal customer, client, or target audience? Who are you selling their products and services to? What sets their products or service apart from competitors with similar offerings? How does their advertising make you feel about using their products or service? How do you maintain consistency in their advertising? How are you able to look at one of their ads or social media posts and know it's from that company? All of these impressions and experiences you have interacting with or hearing about a company, even just looking at their logo, are a part of the company's brand. If you want, you can even go ahead and share the brand you were thinking about in the chat. So companies hire marketing professionals to help them build their brands. In fact, a company's logo, advertising language, and even their colors and fonts they use in advertising are considered parts of branding. But a brand isn't just built by deliberate choices. It's also built over time as a result of the experiences people have when they interact with a product or service, or even when they hear about the company or organization from other people. So you're a person, not a company. So what's branding got to do with your career? Just as companies' brands communicate their qualities and offerings, you can build a brand to market yourself and grow your career. Your professional brand is made up of a unique combination of your career story, along with your qualities, skills, and experiences. It's a way of letting potential employers, educational institutions, colleagues, clients, and even mentors get a sense of who you are and what you have to offer. A few slides back, you thought about a specific company, and I asked you several questions about how you perceive their brand. You can also ask similar questions about your personal brand. For example, what images and feelings do you want people to associate with you and your work? What qualities do you want potential employers, clients, or collaborators to know about that you possess? Who is your ideal employer, client, or customer? What sets you apart from people in the same industry or on similar career paths? And how can you maintain brand consistency in your marketing, whether that's your website, social media posts, or in-person interactions? While you won't necessarily have paid advertisements or shopping bags with your logo on them, you will have social media accounts, a resume, which should also reflect your professional brand. As you meet people in your field and build your network, a strong professional brand will help you leave a lasting impression. Strong branding is helpful for everyone in the job market, but is even more crucial if you want to start your own business or launch a freelance career. A great brand can help freelancers, self-employed people, and small business owners attract customers and gain opportunities. So now that you're getting a sense of what professional branding can mean for you as an individual, try applying the same questions to a person in the public eye. Think of a public figure you admire. Could be a performer, an activist, or political figure, or really anyone in the public eye. Now take a few moments to think about their personal brand. What images and feelings do you associate with them? What qualities do they possess? Who do you think is their ideal customer, client, or target audience? What sets them apart from people in the same industry or on a similar career path? How do they maintain brand consistency in their marketing, projects, and appearances? The answers to these questions reflect that person's brand. We've already looked at a lot of questions, and just remember, we will send out the slides and a handout following the program, and there is a handout that'll be in the chat as well. This is a lot to take in, so don't worry about that. Your favorite company has integrated their brand into everything they do. Their advertising, social media, in-person experiences, even their fonts and logo. And you should do the same with your professional brand. From your social media posts to your network conversations, every interaction you have is an opportunity to let people know what you have to offer. That's what your brand is all about. It explains your background, skills, passions, and interests, and what sets you apart from others on the job market, and lets people know why they should want to work with you. In this section, we'll go over the 3 major steps you can take to build your brand starting today: defining your brand, defining your online presence, and growing your network. In the first step, define your brand, I will lead you through some exercises that will help you get a better understanding of your professional brand as you create a brand statement. In the second and third steps, you'll learn about actions you can start taking immediately after the workshop to start building your brand. So you may want for this part a pen and paper. You can also take notes in a Google Doc, or you can just think through some of the concepts we're talking about, but I will take a few pauses to let people write if they want to. The first step towards communicating your brand is to figure out your brand statement. Your brand statement will be 1 or 2 sentences which quickly let someone get to know you and your work. It tells them your career or educational history and lets them know where your career is heading. You will use your brand statement to communicate key information about your potential employers, clients, and other collaborators. You may also include it in your professional networking emails or during in-person conversations. In a few moments, you'll write out your brand statement. To make that simpler, we're going to start by focusing on your career story. A significant part of your brand statement will be telling your career story. Your career story helps people understand who you are, where you're coming from, and what you have to offer. Like good stories, it's important to start at the beginning. Have you ever noticed that in movies about a superhero or even a supervillain, the audience almost always learns the hero's origin story? So you can understand why they behave the way they do, and your career story serves a similar purpose. Your life or work experiences have made you the person you are and contribute to the way you approach your career. You can start your career story by talking about the experience that made you want to go into your career. For instance, if you're a parent of a special needs child who went into teaching as the result of that experience, you will probably have a very specific point of view about your work in the classroom. Or if you're a college student who has been deeply involved in environmental activism, you'll definitely bring up that unique perspective to a job in city planning. Your career story may also include time away from work. Lots of people have experienced longer breaks in employment. Some have taken time off to raise children, care for a family member, or for a number of personal reasons. Others have had a longer break in employment because of a layoff during an economic downturn. Don't let a break in employment keep you from applying for jobs you want. They are part of your career story too. Just be prepared to discuss your breaks in employment with the recruiter or hiring manager. If you spent your time away from work, volunteering, taking classes, or gaining other valuable skills, be ready to share that information in an interview. Now that we've talked about your past, let's talk about your future. Sharing your professional goal will help people know where you're headed and may help them decide that they want to work with you. The parent who's gone into teaching, who I mentioned in the last slide, may have a goal of helping other educators meet the needs of all their students. Keep in mind that your professional goal is likely to change over time. People often make decisions to make changes to their careers, and often their goal changes along with them, and that's okay. On the next slide, you'll write your goal as you understand them today. So I'm going to give you about a minute to combine your origin story and your professional goal. But remember, you can come back and write more later. Even if you don't have a lot of experience in your field yet, for example, if you're a new graduate or changing careers, you can still talk about what is motivating you to seek this new career and what your ultimate goal is once you launch your career. So here's a couple of questions to help you get started. What events led you to become invested in this type of work? Who influenced you along the way? If you could accomplish anything in your career, what would it be? What is one important problem or issue you would like to improve or address in your lifetime? And what is the first big step you'd like to take towards your dream career? So I'll just give you a moment to kind of think about that. Okay, so again, you can work on this later. You can also watch the recording, pause it, come back, and look at the slides. To complete your brand statement, you'll need a few more details that describe the way you do things. Your first step will be to make a list of the things you want a potential employer, school, or coworker to know about you. These can be qualities you possess, like being honest or hardworking, or they can be specific skills you have or activities you're involved in, like community organizing, volunteer work, activism, or athletics. If you get stuck, think about words other people use to describe you. Do they enjoy your sense of humor, envy your organizational skills? Do they seek out when they need to talk through all the tough issues? When you've made your list, circle or highlight the top 3 qualities, skills, or talents you'd like to share with a potential employer or collaborator. If possible, choose the ones with the most influence on the way you approach your career. These qualities, skills, and talents, combined with your career story, can combine to form the basics of your professional brand. I'll give you just a couple of seconds to quickly start thinking about and listing the skills and qualities you can think of, and then circle your top 3. Again, you can always continue your list after the workshop, and when you're watching the recording, pause the video to give yourself more time. The next steps is to write 1 or 2 sentences and combine them to tell all of your career story. Your career story statement should give people a sense of who you are and where you're coming from and what special thing you have to offer. So here's a few examples. I'm a trained improv comic who uses humor to get young people excited about STEM fields. I'm a journalist who brings attention to important social issues in my community. I'm a recent graduate looking to bring my attention to detail to an administrative job in the finance industry. I'm a former short order cook opening my own food truck to make delicious, healthy food available to people in my community. As I mentioned before, aspects of your career story should be integrated into materials you use to market yourself professionally. To use some of the examples above, the improviser who wants to work in a STEM field should have a brand that combines their great sense of humor with their STEM knowledge. That sense of fun and humor, knowledge of STEM should be evident in all of their professional materials. This means that when they write a cover letter, a professional email, or show up to an interview, their tone, language, and the way they present themselves should reflect those things. The food truck owner's social media post should reflect their commitment to making healthy food available to their community. Their website might contain some info about the time they spend as a short order cook, share what they learned about it in that job, and discuss how they'll apply it to their new food truck business. They may also start a blog that discusses how they address food access issues in their local community. You can share your career story with others and even add it to your resume or profiles on professional networking sites or other social media. I'm going to give you a few seconds to start thinking about and writing your career story. It can be a very rough draft. Remember, you can always come back and rework it after this workshop. Your career story is a great first step towards building your professional brand. As you start to communicate your brand in your website, blog, social media presence, and in-person conversations, find opportunities to incorporate your career story. Keep refining your career story over time and review it before interviews, networking events, or before you post online about your career or business. So tell me about yourself. This is something you're likely to hear at every job interview, many networking events, or in any other professional context. It can feel like such a large general question that it can get hard to know how to answer it. Now, if someone asks you about yourself in an interview, you can share your career story, along with any of your skills, qualities, and interests or talents to apply for the role or potential collaboration you're interviewing for. So congratulations, your career story and list of top 5 qualities, skills, and accomplishments or activities give you enough information to start building your brand. They tell you how you should speak and write about yourself as a potential employee. Now think of all the ways you can use your career story and 5 qualities to market yourself as a potential employee or collaborator. Think about ways you can incorporate that brand into your marketing materials, including your resumes, cover letters, businesses, cards, website, in-person conversations, blog, and social media posts. Now that you've got your career story and a list of your skills, qualities, and talents, we're going to talk about how you can start communicating that brand online. Let's talk about the incredibly powerful tool for communicating your brand to the other people, the internet. Your online presence should be an extension of the impression you make when you meet someone in person. In other words, if your career story is that you're a former line cook who is opening a food truck and your 3 words are hardworking, determined, and community-minded, people should get that impression of you when they read your posts on social media and when you come in for an in-person interview. So let's start talking about how you can promote your brand online with something you're already doing, posting on social media. Most of us participate in some form of social media. No matter which social media platforms you use, it's important to understand that everything you put online will affect how people view you and will impact your professional brand. No matter what your brand is, make sure your tone on social media is always professional and positive. Whether your post is open to the general public or a private account, it's still a reflection of your professional and personal brand. Now that we know a few specific actions you can take to build your career network, it's important to remember that the step will take time. Your network will naturally grow as you spend more time pursuing your career and other interests. If you follow the steps we just discussed, you should be able to build more relationships more quickly. Building a following for your business or professional work on social media may seem overwhelming at first. But remember, you don't have to be everywhere at once. Pick 1 or 2 platforms to start with, then start contributing to them regularly. In order to choose the right platforms, consider 2 things: the brand you plan to cultivate and the audience you're trying to reach. Then decide which platform will work the best for meeting both of those goals. Let's start with professional networking sites like LinkedIn or Handshake for college students. Professional network sites allow you to interact with other users as well as companies that you're looking to hire. Creating a profile on a site like this can be a great platform for your professional brand. You can build your profile on a professional networking site by following these steps. Showcase accomplishments in your field or at school, share your volunteer work, post articles about your industry, and engage in discussions with other people in your field. Photo and video sharing sites like Instagram and TikTok allow you to post and share photos and videos with friends or the general public. Photo and video sharing sites can be used to build your professional brand, especially if you work in a field where your work can be presented visually. For example, if you have a landscaping business, you might want to create a profile where you can showcase recent photos of your work. Other examples of professions could benefit from a profile include hairstylists, house painters, performers, artists, and designers of all types. If you own a retail business, you can showcase your store's merchandise. Microblogging sites like Twitter allow you to share your thoughts in just a sentence or two. These sites can be a good way for writers or other language-based content creators to communicate with a wide audience and build their brands. Social networking sites allow you to stay in touch with people who you know and meet new people. Some social networking sites allow you to set up a profile for a business, which can be great for building your brand. If you set up a business account, make sure to keep your posting strictly about your business. Making and sharing content can be a great way to help people learn about you and what you do. People in almost any career can use their content to build their brand. For example, a teacher might write a blog post about interesting assignments they've given students. An HR professional might share articles about updates to employment law on a professional networking site. A hairstylist can post before and after photos of a happy clients on a photo sharing site. A real estate agent might post a list of tips for quickly selling your home on social media. Remember, you don't always have to create your own original content. You can promote the work of people you admire by sharing their posts and articles. Sharing on-brand content made by other people can be powerful as creating your own. Just remember to always give creators credit for their work. You can also make the most of your content by cross-promoting it. When you post something new to one platform, post it to other platforms as well. For example, if you write an article online, post a link on your social media accounts. So, once you've started building your presence online, it becomes important to consider which parts of your life you don't want to share with the world. This is where privacy comes in. In the next few slides, we'll talk about ways you can protect your brand and yourself by taking steps to ensure your privacy. When you apply for a new job, the chances are very high that a potential employer will search the internet for your name at some point during the interview and hiring process. They'll want to check to see whether you're a good fit for the company and also whether you can participate in any online activities that could embarrass or cause problems for them later on. The next exercise you'll do is optional, but it'll give you a chance to see what information is already available about you on the web. If you want to be able to post things on social media that may not align with your professional brand, set your personal social media accounts to private. Today, we've talked a lot about how you can use social media to build your professional brand, but there's no reason you can't also have accounts where you can be casual, share information about all kinds of topics, connect with people you'll care about, or express your opinions more freely. It's just important to remember that when potential employers or colleagues search for you, they will see all accounts that aren't set to private. So if you want to be able to share photos of your family, funny cat memes, or anything else that feels like it doesn't fit your brand, or reveals a bit too much about your personal life, setting those accounts to private is a smart move. Your personal social media accounts may not always present a problem when you're looking for a job. For example, if your career is in a field like social media marketing, having a big social media presence and following may actually work to your advantage. Just to keep in mind, if you're putting out information or opinions that are too personal in nature or that other people might find controversial, your personal social media accounts could keep you from getting hired, even if you put your current job in jeopardy. Locking down your accounts allows you to approve any potential followers and friends on social media before they can keep your content and keep everyone else from seeing your posts. So now let's talk about a few other ways you can manage your privacy online. So this is an exercise designed to help find out what potential employers, collaborators, or educators may see when they search for you online. It'll give you a chance to evaluate whether your internet search results are in line with the professional brand you're building. Before we get started, this exercise is optional. You're going to perform an internet search for yourself. You may want to wait till you're in a private location before you complete the search, since it's hard to know in advance what kind of results may come up. Before you begin your search, make sure you have privacy and no one else can see your screen. In your browser, open a new window in incognito mode, and then navigate to the search engine you'd like to use. To open a window in incognito mode, open the File menu, then select New Incognito Window. Incognito mode allows you to search the web without your prior search and browser history affecting your results. In other words, searching incognito mode makes your search results more likely to look like the results of someone else who searches for you online. After your incognito window opens, navigate to a search engine to perform your search. Just a note, incognito window is a portion of the Chrome browser. So if you're not using Chrome, it may be called something else. No matter what you find, doing this internet search will allow you to be prepared in case a potential employer, client, or collaborator has questions about your search results. You may find results of other people with your name or your own website or even news articles that feature you. You might not find much at all, and that's fine. You may find something positive like a good review of your business or coverage of a volunteer project you worked on. If so, considering sharing that on social media or a website if you have one. You might find results that are embarrassing or you just don't feel on brand for you. If this happened, ask yourself, is this something I have control over? If your search result brings up something you'd rather people not see if you can delete it. If it's a social media account, log into that account and change its setting to private. If the content is included on someone else's website or social media page, you can ask them to remove it. If your search brings up something you don't have any control over, like a negative online review of a business, that's just good information to have. A Google privacy checkup allows you to look through your settings in your Google account and adjust how much information you allow your accounts to share. To begin, navigate to My Account, google.com/privacy checkup. Google will suggest different privacy settings for you to take a look at. Your privacy checkup will be based on how you use your Google account, so your privacy recommendations may look different than the ones you see. YouTube tab. In this tab, choose who can see your YouTube videos, playlists, and subscriptions, and decide where you share them. If you've been posting to YouTube content that fits your professional brand, with your brand. Look at your YouTube activity feed. You can choose to automatically have the public YouTube activity show up in your channel's activity feed or keep that information private. Then take a look at your Google photo setting. Choose whether you want to remove the geolocation from your photos when you share them by link. Finally, click on what others can see about you to make sure you haven't been sharing private information like your home address or phone number with people who find you via your Google profile. So now you've learned several steps you can take to grow your brand online. Identifying the right platforms, managing your privacy settings on social media accounts, and keeping tabs on your search results, and performing a privacy checkup. Building a strong online presence for your professional brand doesn't happen overnight, but with steady progress, smart choices, and consistent monitoring, you can grow your brand so potential employers, collaborators, and clients can learn about what you have to offer and to connect with you. Now you've defined your brand and learned how to spread the word online. The next step is to get as many people as possible familiar with and excited about your brand. This is referred to as growing a network. The people you surround yourself with can help you grow your brand and your career. Start by asking yourself a few questions. Who should I meet in order to continue growing my brand and career? What kinds of people should know about me and the work I'm doing? The more people you know, the more chances you'll have to find new opportunities, learn from others, and share what you know. Once you identify the kinds of people you want to meet, you can take steps to start meeting more of them. This is often referred to as networking. Networking means forming a community of people who share the intention of building each other's careers. You can meet people by attending events related to your career or interest, or if you're in school, by joining groups on campus. You can get involved with professional organizations in your field, taking an internship, or attending a conference, or a mixture for people in your profession. You can also network virtually by participating in career-related conversations online. Mentors will play a special role in your career development. A mentor is generally someone who has more experience than you and is willing to share their knowledge to help you grow. You can meet mentors in educational settings or even in classes you take outside of work. You may also meet them through friends. Whether you meet them online or in person, you can ask people in your field for an informational interview so that you have the opportunity to ask questions about their field or career path. Finally, you can find a mentor at your current job. If you're lucky enough to have a great manager, or if you identify someone else that you think you can learn from, don't be shy about getting to know them. An advocate is like a mentor. An advocate, like a mentor, is likely to be someone further along in their career path than you. Unlike a mentor who is there to impart knowledge, an advocate will take concrete actions to help your career progress. For example, they may be able to recommend you for a job, promotion, or a raise. Mentors and advocates will both serve important roles in your growing career. The big difference between a mentor and an advocate is that mentors help you grow by imparting knowledge, while advocates act on your behalf. Take a moment to think about whether you have any mentors or advocates in your career now, and where you might identify people who can serve in either role. Companies have advisory groups called boards of directors. A board of directors is a group of industry experts that guides important decisions and steer a company through difficult times as well as good ones. As you build your own career and personal brand, you may also benefit from creating your own board of directors. That is a group of people who can steer your decision-making process, introduce you to people, give great advice, or just help you talk things through. Rather than a company's board of directors, which has formal meetings, your board can be a group of mentors, friends, or colleagues with expertise in your field or similar fields whose expertise you trust. Rather than meeting as a group, you can call on them individually when you need help with a specific issue. Unlike your mentors and advocates, your board of directors does not have to consist solely of people with more career experience than you. It can also include peers whose opinions you trust. Try to curate a group of people with diverse perspectives and experiences who will encourage you to take steps and otherwise may not think to take. You may also find some of your friends from school or even your professors winding up serving in these roles. You're also likely to meet mentors and colleagues you trust and admire as you build your career. So today you took your first steps towards building your professional brand and your personal brand. We started by discussing how companies use branding to build their reputations and learned how individuals can build their own professional brand to take their careers to the next level. You defined your career story and figured out how to respond when someone says, "Tell me about yourself," in an interview, meeting, or network setting. Then we talked about ways you can build your online presence and talked about strategies for expanding your reach through content creation. And finally, we looked at strategies for expanding your network. We discussed finding mentors and advocates, and you started thinking about your own board of directors. This workshop was just the beginning. Now that you know how to start thinking about your brand, here are some action steps you can take. Incorporate your brand into your professional portfolio or your personal marketing materials, like your social media profiles. If your resume has a summary statement, make sure it reflects your career story and the skills, qualities, and talents you brainstormed earlier. You can also experiment with design elements and wording choices that fit your brand. Make sure your resume remains clear and easy to read. Start building your brand online. Search for yourself online. If you find anything that feels off-brand or that you wouldn't want a potential employer or colleague to see, address it if you can. Pick one or two social media platforms and begin posting or sharing on-brand content regularly. Build your network. Find mentors, advocates, and people who can appoint you to their board. You can appoint to your board of directors. If you want to sharpen your business and marketing skills, make sure to check out Google Primer. Primer is a free app you can download to your phone. If you have an Android device, you can download it at the Google Play Store. And if you have an Apple device, you can download it from the Apple App Store. Primer features a series of short, fun lessons that are about 5 minutes each. Today, we touched on a few collaboration features Google has to offer. To get more in-depth training on these tools, Google offers free Google Workspace training. Anyone can complete all of the Google Workspace training at no cost through Applied Digital Skills, an online platform for digital learning. Some lessons may be labeled Workspace Certification. Certification is not a requirement, and these lessons can help you get familiar with the applications in Google Workspace. Sample lessons from Applied Digital Skills are shown in the image on the screen above. While today we touched on building your professional brand, you can find many more lessons and tools to build your career with Google's Applied Digital Skills. This program features videos that teach you how to build digital projects like a cover letter, a project tracker, or a business plan, and anyone can complete these lessons at no cost through this online platform for digital learning. Sample lessons from Applied Digital Skills are shown on the screen above. And don't forget to stay tuned for Grow with Google On Air to keep growing your digital skills and to grow your business. If you're looking to start a new career and land a competitively paid job or build skills to grow your career, check out the Google Career Certificates. Google Career Certificates can give you a path to in-demand jobs with top employers that are now currently hiring. You can earn a certificate and prepare for a new career in a high-growth field in under 6 months, even if you don't have relevant experience. Learn at your own pace and complete the online programs at your own terms. Certificates include IT support, project management, UX design, data analytics, and Android development. You can get started at grow.google/certificates. You can also learn and explore more digital skills at our Grow with Google site, google.com/grow. If you enjoyed this workshop, come back and take additional courses and grow your digital skills. Thank you so much for attending today's workshop. We're happy to have you and hope you learned something from today's about building your brand and moving forward.